very, very good Wednesday morning to you, and I hope I find you very well on what is quite a pleasant, a little bit sunny, a little bit cloudy day here in Manchester, so quite happy with what we've got today. What I want to talk about today is what is a very sad day for me and I guess people of my generation, because it is the passing of a landmark piece of technology. Before the days of this kind of thing, and that is to signify a digital download, before there was this kind of thing, and this kind of thing, and this kind of thing, and this kind of thing, there was a technology that brought a whole new meaning prior to DVD, prior to Blu-ray, and that technology was this. Oh yes, not just Sylvester Stallone, he's been around a lot longer than that, but this is, for our younger viewers, a VCR, a videotape that goes into your video cassette player. So why is this a sad day? Well, it's a sad day because it's hit the news today that the company who were the last in the world to produce VCRs, video cassette recording machines, have now pulled the plug. They are no longer making VCRs. Back in the early 1980s, like all of us here in the UK, certainly, we used to yearn for more entertainment. We only had, at that particular time, 4 television channels, which was obviously BBC One, BBC Two, ITV and Channel 4. And all of those are still around, of course, in amongst the multitudes of digital and satellite channels that we now have. Then along came a technology called Betamax, or Betamax, whichever way you want to pronounce it, Omega, you know what I'm saying, which allowed we, the householders, the people who enjoyed television, who didn't live in a television studio, to record televisual entertainment. And what we did, of course, we had a machine delivered to our house, generally, set up by some highly qualified engineer, which was massive. It was by, that kind of thick, by that kind of size, and it needed an 18-wheel truck and 4 men to deliver it with a mass of cables and all this kind of thing. And it had this dual tuner technology that no normal mortal could understand. But once it was up and running, it allowed us to do this. Take these blank video cassettes and put on them whatever we wished, especially at Christmas when we had all the big movies on that we thought we'd quite like a copy of that, so we'd put E.T. on here or whatever it was at the time. Like most of us, certainly of my age, we thought that was a complete revelation, and I was a great lover. I fell mad and passionately in love with my video cassette recorder. What came along then was an organisation called VHS, Video Home System, which is one of these tapes. The Betamax or Betamax system had smaller cassettes, far more convenient to use, and in actuality gave better quality and better sound. But unfortunately VHS got the march on it, and that became the accepted and respected piece of technology that everybody had in their house. Now, unlike many people, I still own a VCR. Why do I still own a VCR? Well, all my life I've been a massive fan of not only television but movies, and I own about 300 of these little babies, on which are about 3 films. So 300 by 3, 900 movies that I have recorded since the early 80s when VHS became the format for people to use. And it became such a revelation that, unlike today, where for me, for my televisual tastes, I'm delighted to say that I say never. I won't say never. Very, very, very rarely will you hear me utter the words, "Oh, there's nothing on TV. There's nothing for me to watch," because generally there is. I've either recorded something onto my Skybox planner, or there is something on a catch-up channel, or a +1 channel, or a store channel, or whatever it is. There's always something I can watch. But back in the 80s and 90s, you didn't have that availability of technology. So you banged it on something like this. If you were going out for the evening, or you had a party to go to, and you know full well that you were going to miss the first screening of the first Star Wars movie, you'd put it on one of these. You would. And it became such an integral part of every household. And you would generally find, speaking from my experience, that the past generation, my mum and dad, who were born in the early part of the 20th century, just couldn't get their head around it, didn't understand how it worked, didn't understand the twin tuner technology, couldn't set it up, and so on and so forth. Also at the time, a big company called Philips came up with an idea called Philips 2000. Now, Philips 2000 was like a further incarnation of Betamax, or Betamax, which gave you very, very high resolution pictures and sound. A little bit more expensive, but in my opinion, would have been very, very well worth the investment had it caught on. Sadly, it didn't. So that left these bad boys as the champions of the video recording world. We obviously, very much like you might be aware, because there's still some around, of course, like Blockbuster. You can go and hire a DVD now, or a Blu-ray from there. Well, in those days, you could go into your local video shop and hire something like this for maybe 1 or 2 of your finest English pounds, and that would allow you to have that film for the night, sit down with your friends and family with some popcorn and a beer, and have a really good time watching something that up until normally you would only have to go to the cinema to see. So it's a very, very sad day for me when a technology ends. Why? Well, because all the way through my life I've tried to kind of keep up with technology. I feel that technology is a very important, a very integral part of human civilization now. It's got to the point where, of course, it's taken a bit of a life of its own. We now carry what is in effect a computer in our pocket every single day of the week, and by a computer, of course, I mean our smartphone. When I was a kid, I remember my first incarnation of technology was what was called a radiogram, which was like a long wooden cabinet, and in there was a radio tuner, a record player which played 45 RPM singles, 33 RPM albums, and what were called 78 RPM records at that time, plus a section to put all your albums in. And then after that one Christmas, I remember being bought a small reel-to-reel tape recorder, which I thought technology had peaked at that particular time, and I was amazed that they could get such technology in such a small package. And being blown away by something like that put me in a position that I always, and again, being a science fiction fan, I always ask the question, I wonder whether, we'll have the kind of things that you see in technology. I didn't at that point ever envisage that we would have something like this secreted away in our pocket, or our handbag, or man bag, or whatever. Never did I think we could get to this. So technology has moved on, and we are now waving goodbye to a piece of seminal technology. Something that I believe that without that, none of the other things would have come along. Because human nature is, when you have something, a piece of technology, somebody then asks the question, can we make this better? How do we make this better? So from VHS or Betamax or Philips 2000, we eventually moved on to, of course, CDs, DVDs, and now digital downloads, which you can put on a, your little SD card or your TFT card, if you want another name for it, and you can transfer that anywhere you like, even into a lot of players that are now available on a lot of TVs. My smart TV has a slot that you can put in an SD card, TFT card, and play the content direct. It is absolutely amazing. So a little bit of a sad day for me today. I hope that I'm chatting to the choir where you remember your first VHS machine or beta machine, perhaps. Perhaps you had a Philips 2000 machine. I've only ever seen one being demonstrated. I've never used one. I've never been in anybody's house that's had one. So if you had a Philips 2000, let me know. Let me know what it was like. Let me know if you've still got your VCR machine. Just let me know. I would love to think that I am not the only one. Now what I will do, I'll give you a little tip here. And this again is old tech tips here. If you are, like me, still an owner of VHS tapes, you will know occasionally they get trapped in the heads and they get all crumpled up and they won't play. Well, what do you do then? Well, most of us, of course, at that point, we throw them away because they can't be repaired. You're never going to get the content back because the tape itself, the covering of the iron oxide on the tape, is corrupted. So the actual recording itself is corrupted. But wait just a minute. And here's where the tip is. Now, we're all aware on the side of the VHS here, that's the left-hand side, as you're looking at it there, the right-hand side, there's a little button. And if you press that little button, it releases a little flap at the top there. You see that? Now, if you hold that back, and you find on the tape here where it's crumpled, this hole down at the bottom there, you see that? If you push a pencil in there, it releases the catch that holds the tape steady in the cassette so that the cassette can only feed it at a certain length of time. You can then pull the tape out in a loop, as it were, and you pull it out till you've got clear, unruffled tape, your ruffled bit and a clear tape. Then what you then do, you can either get a small saucepan full of boiling water and keep it at a bubble so you've got steam, and then you stretch the tape over the top of the bubbling boiling water, and the steam, the humidity, will take out the crinkle. Or the same can be done with a kettle. So if you've got a kettle that you can keep boiling, you put it over the spout, hold the crinkle bit over the spout, and it will take out the crinkle. So if you've got, let's say, a videotape that's got an important occasion on, for instance, and you've kept it for sentimental reasons, even though the damage makes it unplayable. So let's say a 21st birthday party, or a retirement party, or a wedding, or an anniversary, or something like that. And you've kept the tape solely because it's important to you, but you know you can't play it anymore, even though you might still, like me, have a VCR player. Try that. Try that. It will, I guarantee, take the wrinkle out. I can't guarantee the quality of the recording on the unwrinkled tape, but it will play, and you will see it. You may get some noise lines on the screen, but it will play, I guarantee. I hope that's helped. Old tech. Old tech. It's a great thing, and I'm very, very sad today to wave it goodbye. So, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this one. A little bit of a departure from normal, but I kind of like to do that. Any questions, queries, suggestions for this kind of nonsense, by all means let me know. Please let me know that, if you're kind of my age or a little bit younger, and you grew up with this great big box of a machine underneath your Pride and Joy television set, and you had all the AV cables linked through and that kind of thing, and your aerial plugged into the back of the VCR, and then a patch cable between your VCR and your television so you could watch a different program to the one you were recording. Technology of it all. Let me know. Let me know what wonders it brought to your home. So that's it for this one, people. Thank you very much indeed for watching. I haven't checked my numbers today, so I don't know where we stand today. I did notice a couple of days ago I had lost a subscriber, but I don't know who you are. I'm not too sure why you've gone. But by all means, feel free to come back. If it's your first time here and you're enjoying this, give it a thumbs up. Even if it's your not your first time here and you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. And if it is your first time here and you think it's quite entertaining, does he do anything else? Yes, I do. I do all sorts of stuff. Have a look in the back catalogue and see what you can find there. So for now, people, I shall speak to you soon. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.